Now they bring him into the backfield. Flare him out. Pass is caught over the middle. And a fumble. And the Cowboys recover. And it's Prescott wide open. Touchdown. Blake Jarwin. Holland in motion. Pass comes out here to Gallup. And he'll gallop his way for a first. Wentz fires. Intercepted. Picked off by Xavier Woods.
And play as badly as they play tonight, and as uninspired as they play tonight, and as lifeless and dumb in every possible way.
And the team from this city tonight, they didn't even show up. With all that was on the line, we got out coached, we got out physical, we got out manned, we got out wanted to, we got out aggressive. You name it. Any adjective that you can come up with, the Dallas Cowboys outdid us in that.
Yeah, Mo, that team sure did suck last night. They just plain sucked. I've seen teams suck before, but they were the suckiest bunch of sucks that ever sucked.
What's happening, everybody? This is the Philly Experience Podcast alongside Chris Stacker, Tanner Martin, and Tyre Hood. I'm your host, Max James. It's great to be with you on this Tuesday, October 22nd. Following an embarrassing Eagles loss in Dallas, they lose 37-10 and really didn't play well in any aspect throughout the entire game. So we'll dive into the recap of it and also look forward to the Buffalo game this upcoming week. Sixers start tomorrow, home against their biggest rival, the Boston Celtics. Game starts at 7:30. We'll talk about what the Sixers need to do this season in order to reach the finals. Finally, for the first time in a long time. And a little Flyers talk towards the end, Chris. A little tough West Coast trip, followed by a loss to the Devils, but they bounced back last night against the Golden Knights.
I'm not even mad, but you know what I am mad about?
What was that?
Our football team in Philadelphia.
Yeah. It was a rough weekend.
Pissed off.
Can you believe that back in August we were talking about Super Bowl aspirations? And
it's funny to me too.
Yeah, and our defense is not real. I don't know what you're saying.
We ain't crap. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
We're not crap, all right?
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying now, okay, and I fixed it, but the Eagles have not fixed themselves. Yeah, there you go.
Hey, I mean, they only let up 37 points. That's one less point than last week, Chris.
Are you kidding me?
It sure is. You know what? Baby steps. I love the way you think. I love the way you think,
Gotta
Tanner.
think like that.
It's great. Yes. Oh.
And I
goodness.
like how going into this week we were talking trash on the Cowboys. Even our coach was going in on it too.
Yeah.
It was a great way to go into a game. Really hype up the other team. That's a smart idea. Smart idea.
Was that like a wise ass comment?
Does this team have any hope for the future?
Let's get this out the way right now. A lot of things that I said that I was considered crazy for and that I think shouldn't have happened, and players that we brought back should not have been brought back, we are reaping the benefits, well, for lack thereof, at this point right now. Max, you said to bring back Darren Sproles. That has been a huge mistake.
Well, I mean, he hasn't played, so at least you can't put that on.
I'm not finished.
Look,
I'm not finished.
If you want to say that, then you're the one that said bring back Jason Peters.
You are correct, but I also took that loss last week. Here's the thing. At this point with Jason Peters having a Hall of Fame career, you can't necessarily just release him.
Yeah, you can.
You kind of just have to let it ride out, as sad as it sounds.
Listen, don't make the same mistake the Phillies did when they re-signed Howard and all those
and I'm getting
guys.
to that point. I am getting to that point. I was considered crazy when I said after the 2017 season in which the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl, I said, all right, let's blow it up. Blow it up. And people was like, dude, are you crazy? I said, let's trade Nelson Aguilar. It's the highest value you're going to get for him. Oh, no, you're crazy, T. What's the matter with you? Now I look like a stinking genius.
Now, if I don't mind digging into your brain from back in the spring of 2018 after we won the Super Bowl. Don't get me wrong, I agree with you. Nelson Aguilar's value was held a lot higher back then. But what would you, if you were in the shoes of Howie Roseman, what would you have done? What would you be looking for?
At this current moment?
No, back then.
Oh, back then?
Back then.
I'm at least looking for
maybe a third,
second round at the highest.
Just a draft pick?
Just a draft pick.
Okay.
Just a draft pick. Maybe you can throw in maybe a player that maybe was drafted maybe 5th, 6th round. Because, maybe a player that I can develop possibly in the future. But I would have gotten something back for Nelson Aguilar because look at the pattern that he's shown. And there's a reason why we're picking on Nelson Aguilar today. Oh. All right. Look at the pattern. All right. First year he was drafted under Chip Kelly. Didn't really perform that well. Yeah. All right. Then we get to Carson Wentz's rookie year, the next year, in which I'd rather have those 3 wide receivers right now. I would rather have Jordan Matthews, Dorial Green Beckham, and Nelson Aguilar at this point.
No, you don't.
Dude, seriously, I would.
Listen.
You know why? Do you know why?
Enlighten us.
I can count on one hand how many wide receivers caught the ball on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
That's despicable.
Okay, that's a good point.
That's utterly despicable. What the heck am I paying these wide receivers for? Your main job is to catch the stinking ball, and you're not doing that. So what's the point of me paying you? As a matter of fact, speaking of pay, if I was Jeffrey Lurie right now, because I think they get paid today. If I was Jeffrey Lurie, I'm standing at that pay line. The only people that's getting paid today is the kickers and the punter. Ain't nobody else getting paid. And that includes the coaching staff. Ain't nobody getting paid until y'all put some effort out there on the field and earn your paycheck.
Does that include Carson Wentz?
That includes Carson Wentz. He did not have his best game, but honestly, I cannot blame him with the pile of crap that's around him.
Flat out sucked.
He did, but you can't blame him with the pile of crap that he has now. Lane Johnson got his behind whooped by DeMarcus Lawrence this past Sunday. DeMarcus Lawrence took him to school. That is the worst game I've seen out of Lane Johnson in a very, very long time.
I agree with you. That was really bad
utterly despicable. The offensive line is horrible. Jason Kelce on 1 sack was put on his behind. When's the last time that you've seen Jason Kelce on his behind?
He's old, man. He's an old guy.
And to be honest with you, I was thinking about maybe after the 2018 season when we re-signed him for an extra year. And I was thinking to myself, you know what? We need to start worrying about life after Jason Kelce because that's when the report, all those injuries were coming out.
He was contemplating retirement.
Right, exactly. So in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, well, dag, I think it's time. I've been saying it for a minute in the back of my head, but I never physically said it out my mouth. And I'm like, all right, I think it's time we start looking for a replacement for Jason Kelce. Don't get me wrong. I love Jason Kelce. All-round athlete, talent, all-pro. I've loved what he's done here. But to be honest with you, for the type of linemen that are coming in, these guys are getting stronger. They're getting faster. They're getting more physical. Jason Kelce is undersized.
I agree. He is undersized, and experience only takes you so far. I sat here on the show last week and told everybody that, listen, if we lost this game, there's going to have to be some changes to be made, some trades to be done, and a different strategy as far as going towards the future. Now, what those trades, what those future plans are, I'm not sure of this moment. But the fact of the matter is, Dallas is better than us, flat out.
Yep.
And we really don't have a good defensive player that you can point to and say, wow, okay, he's been solid for us all season. The only guy I really think was maybe Rodney McLeod, but again, Jenkins, you can go down the list, all the corners and the linebackers. I mean, we started Nate Gary and TJ Edwards, two guys never even heard of at linebacker.
What happened to Malcolm Jenkins?
I don't know, man. He just looks
a huge integral piece of this defense.
He looks different. Looks like a different player.
I went out on a limb.
He looks like another guy, which is not a compliment.
I went out on a limb and said that he needs to be paid the money that he deserves.
And I agree with you.
And now I'm second guessing myself because
at his age, the way he's been playing this year,
and if he's supposed to be the leader of the secondary, then he's also not doing his job as well. Then he also needs to be held accountable for this piss poor of a secondary, for lack of a better term. Look, it's horrible at this point that we're in week 7 and I see Malcolm Jenkins changing plays last minute. That's horrible. That's unacceptable. If your guys can't get lined up, if you can't get your guys lined up, if they don't know where they're supposed to be on plays, and this is mid-season at this point, we have a serious, serious problem on our hands. And this goes far beyond Malcolm Jenkins at this point. I've called out this coaching staff before, But now, I've only called out the defensive coaching staff at this point. Now, I'm calling out everybody, and that includes Doug Peterson. That was horrible, all right? Starting from the offensive standpoint of view, listen, I don't know how in the world they plan games. I know they script plays in the beginning. Yeah, toss that. Toss that at this point. Start reading what weaknesses the other team has and attack those weaknesses, all right? Stop with the pre-planning. And I don't know what Mike Groh's role is in planning for the week. If he's the one that puts in the plays for the week that the Philadelphia Eagles are going to use in game time situations, then seriously, you need to consider taking that over, Doug. Seriously, because that's horrible. It is utterly despicable how predictable this offense has become. One player went down in week 1. Our deep threat, Deshaun Jackson. One player goes down, and now this offense looks like a pile of predictable crap. Are you kidding me? The best teams, the good teams, the championship teams, a la the New England Patriots. I hate to bring them up, but it's the truth. The New England Patriots know how to work around injuries. They've done it time and time and time again. The year Tom Brady went down, they had Matt Castle at backup quarterback, and they still go 11-5. No, they did not make the playoffs, but that's impressive with a backup quarterback like Matt Castle to take that team to an 11-5 record. It is utterly ridiculous that one player destroys this team. You mean to tell me that one player messes up your entire playbook? Seriously. That's irritating.
Or I lose my freaking mind. We better figure this out.
And I need to see that Doug. I need to see that Doug. I don't need to see the Doug that we see in the press conferences, all calm and whatnot and nonchalant and let's go get some ice cream after the game. No, I don't need to see that Doug. I need to see the Doug that's saying stuff like this.
Pull your head out of your ass.
I need to see that. I need to see him pulling on face masks, getting in people's faces. Do what you got to do. Cut some people out. Because what we seen on Sunday was a piss poor effort. You know what? You know what we should do, fellas? We all love what we do, right? We love coming up in here talking sports, right?
Yeah.
Well, what happens if we come in just one day and we just mail it in? We suck. We ain't prepared. We just do what we feel like, talk about what we feel like, go off topic. I mean, come on. Do your job. Put some effort into it. This is a grown man league. Seriously.
How do we even follow this up?
Where the hell was the effort?
You've covered all the bases.
Well, I agree with everything that you said there. Obviously, a lot of frustration, but I'm trying to look for some positives here, and I really just can't find any.
What positives?
You can't.
And you're talking about preparation. What do we do to prepare for ourselves against the Bills?
Something needs to be done with starting from coaching. This starts from coaching. The players not being ready on Sunday, that's coaching. The players coming out lackluster and playing like they don't give a damn, that's coaching. That is all coaching. I don't know exactly what needs to be done to light a fire up under these guys, but releasing players is not exactly the best strategy in the world.
I was about to say, they sent a message by releasing Orlando Scandrick.
All of a sudden, Zach Brown looks really good.
No, Max is correct in that statement. Don't you find it odd? We released Zach Brown, right? One of our best linebackers that we had past tense.
That's a very
We've gone through 6 weeks. We fought up against the likes of Dalvin Cook and Le'Veon Bell, and we've held each of them to under 100 yards. Now we go into Jerry's world. And we allow Ezekiel Elliott to run 22 times for over 100 yards?
Look, man, it's Zeke.
It's Zeke. You are correct. But we went up against Dalvin Cook, who was lighting everybody up.
Yeah, it's true.
Le'Veon Bell is still an all-pro running back.
Yep.
We held those running backs, those star running backs. When Zach Brown's, as bad as Zach Brown's been playing, he was still contributing to the team. And trust me, he was playing bad. But now you put these young, and then here's where coaching comes in. The prep work was horrible on the defensive end. If you're going to go into a game with no Nigel Bradham and you just release Zach Brown, why would you expose your young linebackers like that? We had a linebacking core of T.J. Edwards, an undrafted rookie out of Wisconsin, Kamu Grugier-Hill, and Nate Gary, which, by the way, I'm still average with him.
Well, Doug Peterson said that he had confidence in his younger linebackers.
I understand having confidence, but when you have confidence, you start them from day one. You don't wait till mid-season when the wheels are falling off the wagon, and now you're trying to do a quick fix to fix the problems. Yeah. And you're trying to send a message to the team by releasing a starter.
Well, here's a positive
Honestly,
note.
Doug Peterson's confidence means nothing to me.
No.
And it's true. I don't disagree with that either. But look, Jalen Mills played pretty well in his first game back.
And honestly, that's the only thing you can say. But if Jalen Mills is playing good, that's saying something. That's saying something.
Hey, he played well, man. Give him credit. I mean, he missed a couple tackles, but he had a nice interception.
But that's saying something. That's a problem. It's also a problem when on that third touchdown, and on that play action pass, first off, when the play first started, there were 12 men on the field. Why are we in week 7 and we still don't know what personnel goes in what situations? That's coaching.
Listen, here's if I have to break this down, I think Fletcher Cox looks like he doesn't give max effort. He doesn't look like he cares enough.
Fletcher's getting double teamed. Fletcher's out there doggone there the entire game. You're talking about a 310-pound lineman playing most of the snaps because of the lack of depth at defensive tackle.
I get it. The injuries are a big problem. And Brandon Graham just looks like he's shot. I mean, let's be honest. He had one game against the Jets. And even last week, he just can't get to the quarterback. You don't see him anywhere near Dak Prescott. You don't see him around the quarterback ever. I mean, that's his job. He's literally a pass rusher on the defensive end, and he can't get there.
But name a defensive lineman that has gotten close to a quarterback consistently.
Well, name a defensive Davion Clowney, who we could have.
I'm talking about on our team. I'm talking about on our team. Yes, I agree with you.
Derek Barnett. No, Derek Barnett hasn't gotten there. We know it's hard. So I feel like we really need to gather some assets and some draft picks and really hit on them, because listen, in the last 4 years, name one impact player we had besides Carson Wentz, because I can't. And last year's draft was embarrassing. Look at Andre Dillard, who hasn't contributed. Miles Sanders hasn't done much. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside hasn't done much.
And now you're starting to hit the nail on the head. Now you brought up another issue where the issues with this team goes far beyond coaching. Now you're looking at upper management, because you are correct. The last 4 years, and we've talked about this last week, they are horrible at drafting. So I hear everybody that's saying, well, let's stockpile draft picks. Well, what's that going to do? Because our history of drafting is utterly ridiculous. Well, we've missed on big-time players.
There's a cap in the NFL, so it's not like baseball where you can just go out and sign whoever the hell we want. So we really, the defense we have, the 11 guys that we have on defense that play every snap, or they switch and rotate in and out, I'd say maybe like 8 of them are horrible. There's 8 out of the 11 guys on defense absolutely suck.
Sounds about
It's all the linebackers. It's all the cornerbacks. It's at this point you can throw the safeties in there too. I mean, at least one from Jenkins' standpoint. Fletcher Cox gets double teamed there. He's one guy that you keep, and you need probably at least one rusher on the edge, because you don't want to give up on Derek Barnett yet, because you draft him in the first round. But
I'm starting to give up on him. I am.
Fletcher?
No. And Brandon Graham was another horrible contract. Brandon Graham was another horrible contract.
I said that in the offseason.
I agreed with you.
I said that.
Because now we're stuck with him another 2 years, and he can't do his job anymore.
And guess what? You're paying him top-end pass rusher money, and now it's going to be hard to move that contract should you want to move him.
I chalk this game up in a column for Lane Johnson where he just didn't have it. He just didn't have it on this night. I still have confidence in him. I still think he's one of the best tackles in football. Brandon Brooks, we haven't heard a peep out of him, which means a good thing. He's doing his job from the right guard, and the left side of the line needs a little patchwork.
A little? That left side needs a whole
When I say patchwork, I mean we already have Dillard in place. We really only maybe a center, like you said. Kelsey's getting up there in age, and probably need a left guard as well. But
ain't no probably. See, Amalo has been up and down, and that's an issue.
That's true. I think we do need to upgrade. I think we all agree that we need to upgrade that left side of the line. But listen, you got 8 guys on defense that you need to replace, and I'm dead serious, because there's not a single ounce of talent in anybody.
On that point, you say we need to replace 8 players.
8 guys on defense.
Here's where I'm going to blame that on coaching as well. Because this is still a dominant defensive line.
When healthy.
When healthy, this is still a dominant defensive line. that can get to the quarterback.
If we had Malik Jackson and Timmy Jernigan healthy, I do think it would be a lot different.
I think we would have the same issues, and I'm gonna tell you why. And this is the reason why I'm gonna blame it on coaching. What did they say about the definition of insanity? Is when you keep doing something over and over again and expecting a different result. We rush the same lanes. They all rush the passer the same way. There's hardly an array of moves. I don't see them using losing their hands. I don't see them doing spin moves. I don't see them using club moves. I do not see them using a wide variety of moves. I see them bull rushing each and every single down.
Derek Barnett had one good play on Tyron Smith for a sack.
One play. And did you see him show up ever again?
No.
That's an issue.
This is what, we're kind of handcuffing ourselves here because Derek Barnett hasn't really shown you much. He was injured a little bit last season, and he hasn't done much this year. So
another thing on coaching, where's the development of the young players that you have drafted? I don't think all these guys that we drafted are bad. I don't. But if you don't have a coaching staff that's going to develop these players, you have a serious problem.
Listen, the guys on this defense right now have either just came into the league. Well, that's not true because from Nate Gary's standpoint, he's been here a couple years. So it's not like we have a small sample size of these players, right? It's not like we're all sitting here beating on them because they've only been here maybe a week or two. Right, these guys have been here years, multiple years, and we haven't seen any progress, and we haven't really seen any big time plays from the majority of the defense. It's ridiculous. And that's what the scary thing is because now we're in a tough spot. We know we need edge rushers. We can't just go out and get them because of the fact that we're handcuffed with the Brandon Graham contract.
I'm sick of this.
We're not just going to cut Derek Barnett or trade Derek Barnett because we draft him in the first round for a reason. We can't just let him go immediately, and I'm sure the GM doesn't want to do that. Then we look at the cornerback position. Sidney Jones, what has he shown you? Nothing.
Here's the sick part about Sidney Jones. Do y'all know
Ronald Darby, $7 million over 1 year we gave him.
I said
throw in the toilet. I mean, list any name you want. Pull it out of the hat.
I said Ronald Darby shouldn't have came back either, but they still brought him back. Here's the crazy part with Sidney Jones. Sidney Jones has fallen so far from grace with this coaching staff. They had Craig James playing over him.
Who's that?
Exactly.
I didn't even know he was on the team. That's how bad this guy.
I've never heard that name.
Sidney Jones was healthy.
He was responsible for the interception in the end zone against Green Bay. That's when you heard his name.
That's the
I remember that play. The one play where Nigel Bradham actually played on the field.
I wasn't there. All right, buddy. Jerk.
But man, look, it's just
you piece of Swiss cheese.
Tanner and I pretty much agree here about Jordan Howard. I think Jordan Howard's been a bright spot this season, and I think that Miles Sanders, although he's had some highlights this year, I don't know if he should be.
He only has highlights because he's getting the ball.
Yeah, I think it should be very heavily in favor as far as the touches in Howard's favor.
So, y'all remember that 3rd and 4 play in which they ran the ball with Miles Sanders on Sunday?
Yeah, he got absolutely destroyed.
And it should have been Jordan Howard.
A lot of people said that was a bad play call. I disagree. I went back and looked at the tape. It was perfectly executed. All right? Dillard did his job.
Big Miles Sanders fan over here.
Do y'all remember that big run against Dallas back in the Super Bowl year that Jay Ajayi destroyed?
Oh, I remember
that
very much.
That was the same exact play. The same exact play. The hole was beautiful. Yeah, Miles Sanders does not have vision yet.
But remember,
if I'm going to run on 3rd and 4 that play, I'm going to use Jordan Howard. I'm not going to use Miles Sanders
Chris,
on run plays.
No, nothing. No, I just think it's funny how before the show you said you wouldn't go off.
I'm not going off.
Oh, but you went off earlier.
Last week I went off. That's the definition of going off.
Anyway.
Well, that's a bad thing when T's not going
remember
off.
the result of that play?
Very bad.
I was going to say, remember the result of that play?
But
sure, it was a first down.
Yeah, but he got tripped up. But the point
he got caught.
The point is, he hit the hole hard. He didn't juke around in the backfield, and he did what he was supposed to do on that play.
I'm just trying to do everything I can to avoid.
What's he here for?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
agree.
Like seriously, I don't understand what's wrong with this team. I've never seen. This is worse than Chip Kelly's last year. I've never seen.
You can point to any aspect. You can point to any aspect of this team right now. Nothing looks good, and that's the problem because it's not one position. We thought 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, at least some people, not anybody in this room, specifically, but some people said, listen, we get Jalen Ramsey, we're a Super Bowl contender. Now, look, if we got Jalen Ramsey giving up 2 first rounds and a 4th, where does that put us? That still puts us in the same position that we're in right now. And we still have that would take it from 8 guys on defense that we need to 7. Is that really that big of a difference?
No.
We still need 7 guys.
We would still be trash.
We would still be trash because this defensive line still can't get to the quarterback. And, okay, you might have one side of the field locked down, but you still got the middle of the field where we have young linebackers. And I don't know who's going to play slot corner because Avonte Maddox still isn't playing.
He's terrible anyway. It doesn't matter.
I don't think Crevion LeBlanc's eligible to play until week 8.
When we get Chris Harris, it'll all be better.
Did you see the play?
That's one play.
A Thursday night against Green Bay where Maddox was like 20 yards behind Adams on that one play?
Or
look, hold on.
I don't know if it was
pressing the rewind button in my brain.
I don't know if it was the first play, that first big play he broke off down the right sideline. But it was one of those plays where
the thing is, they put Maddox on the outside, and I don't think Maddox is
not.
an outside
He's
player.
not. But here, listen to this. If we're fully healthy on defense, because people always like to bring up the injuries, okay, our D tackles are
kind
good.
of a big deal.
Right? Our D tackles are pretty solid. Our edge rushers still are, underachieving. Our linebackers, we have one guy, Nigel Bradham. I don't anybody else healthy in the linebacker spot, they're still not talented, in my opinion.
But here's
corners. Name a corner when they're all healthy. Name one single corner, maybe. And Jalen Mills, if you want to throw him out there because he had one good game, fine. But anybody else, you're not confident in. Ronald Darby, you're not confident in. Sidney Jones, you're not. There's nobody.
Nope. But
when they're all healthy.
But here's where you go back to coaching, and where coaching is the issue. You have these young guys at these prime positions. This is where development comes into play. This is where I think coaching really coaches earn their bones. Are you able to develop the talent? Are you able to work with the talent that you are given? No, not every situation you are going to be given all-stars.
These guys have been here for years,
too. And that's the problem. Years, okay?
But
this is the third year in this defensive
right.
scheme. And there's still miscommunication.
But
there's 12 men on the field. There's 10 men on the field.
We won the Super Bowl back in 2017, though.
We sure did. I remember.
We did.
Look, I don't disagree with you. But sometimes, like you've told me before, players play.
You are correct.
See, we had
coaches coach.
You are correct.
Coaches can only do so much.
But when players,
when you put them in a position where they can't succeed, I understand what you're saying. But sometimes.
You understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah, Max, I do.
This conversation is familiar. Does this remind you of any other Philly team right now?
The Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah.
Oh, we should.
Yeah, listen. The point I was making with the Super Bowl win was because who did we have on defense that we don't have now? Vinny Curry we brought back. Okay, Patrick Robinson we could use right now.
Jordan Hicks, but he was injured.
Like our D line for the most part, like Timmy Jernigan was a part of that team. Fletcher was a part of that team.
Chris Long.
Yeah.
You're talking about players that are
2017.
Still here.
That was on.
But are
you talking about players
because
that are
my
still
point
here?
is like majority of the guys. I'm not saying all of them.
But what that
most of them were on that team. So where is the progress?
But the Patriots exposed that defense. And they gave the blueprint as to how to beat this defense.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We made it all the way to the Super Bowl.
You can cry all the time about the final score. Here's the thing. You can cry about the final score.
I'm not going to cry about the final score.
How many teams, honestly?
Because Nick Foles
took
us to the promised land.
But how many teams? How many times can you really entrust an offense to score over 40 points?
He's right. No, I understand.
That's a problem.
But our offense was talented enough, man. That season, any regular season game, you can pick one out. Going in that, we played Denver that season. We beat them by 50 or something like that. Look
how many
at
times
all the teams.
And how many times are you going to rely on that happening?
Every week. You expected us to score 40 points.
Not over 40, 50 points.
Dude,
because with this defense.
Every week.
That year, we averaged 28 points a game.
There was not one game where I thought we were scoring less than 30. Every time we went out there.
That was then, okay? That was with Frank Reich, and that was with the right preparation. Right now, at offensive coordinator, we got Mike Rowe. There is no kind of creative play design. I'm used to play calls where if a run is successful for 5 to 7 yards, their teams are going to come out in the same look, and then they're going to do a play action pass off of it to fool them. That's good coaching. I'm not seeing that at this point. Because why? Because the plays at this point are predictable.
Yeah.
They know how to stop them from jump street.
I'm so surprised at how much has changed or could have changed in 2 years. It just I'm scratching my head about it because
like T said, Frank Reich was a bigger part of that Super Bowl winning team than I think all of us thought.
Yeah.
Because look at what he's doing with the Colts right now.
I wish we had the Colts roster.
He's making Jacoby Brissett look.
I would
fine.
trade the Colts roster for our roster, or trade our roster for the Colts.
Sure, let's do it.
I would do it. Call them up. Call them up.
But look what this team is doing to us. Look how we're bickering back and forth.
Yeah,
about
I think
this.
what we need to do here is really settle down and expect losses every single game the rest of the year, except for the Miami and the Washington games. Can you handle that, T?
You don't see me yelling. I haven't yelled at all.
Because you know it.
Today.
Everybody here knows inside their head that this team's not as good as we thought, and their defense is non-existent.
Hey, I'm going to run through those games, okay?
We're giving up 40 every game.
Okay, so yeah, we got the Bills, which I think we think is a loss.
Yes, it's
Bears,
a loss.
which...
Bears is a loss.
50-50.
How are we going to score?
We'll win 5 in a row at the end of the schedule.
Seahawks.
It's a loss.
Oh, that's a loss.
That's a loss. Dolphins. Yeah, I hope.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Dolphins get their first win against us.
I'm not confident in any
I'm excited
game.
to give the Dolphins their first.
And then Giants, Redskins, Cowboys, Giants.
Here's the thing: so we lost against the Cowboys, and if the Giants pick up a win, they're tied with us.
We lost to the Lions this year. You guys remember that loss?
I do.
Yeah.
Embarrassing.
What do they have, 2 wins this year?
Yeah, we gave up 27.
We also lost to the Falcons, who
have one
win.
They are. Yeah.
We gave up 27 to the Redskins at home.
That's what I'm saying. This defense has been a problem from day one. You cannot expect an offense to continue to score 30-plus points in it. Okay.
We're not as talented. Our offense isn't as talented as it was 2 years ago.
No, it's
not. That's
not.
the problem.
No, it's not. That starts with coaching. You have the players. You have the pieces. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside is not a bad receiver.
Who?
He is not.
Who?
I know.
No,
I know.
Terrible. No,
he's not a bad receiver.
He's not a bad receiver. But because he's been coached up with bad coaching, now you get the result where
I'm Matt Collins than him.
It's a good question.
That's a good point.
Now that is an excellent question.
Now I'm glad you brought up the offense, T.
What's up?
Because we've been, punching the defense in the face for a majority of this
I'll
show
punch
now.
the defense every Sunday.
Okay. But now I kind of want to talk about this offense, okay? Because look, Carson Wentz can only do so much, especially when he has an offensive line full of holes, and they keep getting. Sorry, I'm so angry. Do you guys have hands? Do you guys have hands? Wait, do you guys have hands?
Yeah.
Do you can catch a football?
I can sure stretch my arms out.
You can. You can?
I mean, I can sure try.
It's an outrage.
Right.
You can
Nelson.
be a Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver.
The ball.
I have never.
Okay. I wanted to bring up the Nelson Aguilar not play. Man, when every time Carson just throws the ball downfield all the way, I always get off my feet because you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen, and I think we were all thinking the same thing when,
Touchdown.
We were.
Yeah, we were like, Nelson, that is
not that it matters, but touchdown.
Touchdown.
Right.
But
that'd have been nice little highlight, to possibly add into the show's beginning.
For sure. Now, because of the angle of the camera, Nelson doesn't catch it. I go, it was probably 2 feet away from his arms. No, he just didn't go for it. He just didn't go for it.
Here's the sick part. I have his explanation right now.
Yeah, thank you.
I have his explanation right now. Do y'all want to hear it?
I haven't heard it yet. Please.
From Wentz, what happened on that incompletion?
I tried to get open. I was hauling tail, make a move on the safety, use the space that I had to run across the field, and I was running. And, by the time I was trying to track it, the ball was already at a position. I wish I would be able to get there, but I don't know what happened, because it's 2 situations. I don't know if he was rushed or whatever, but we had enough field, and I was trying to get to it.
You don't know if your quarterback was rushed, but yet and still Carson Wentz takes one of the biggest hits of the game, throwing that ball probably as accurate as you can from getting rushed.
So he throws shade at Carson.
Yes, he does. Now you're throwing your franchise quarterback under the bus. Here's another thing. There's no leadership in this locker room. Y'all remember when Malcolm Jenkins in the 4th quarter went after Dak Prescott? And that entire team went to fight Malcolm Jenkins. Where is that fight? The last time I seen my team fight for a quarterback was when Nick Foles back in 2013 got laid out by Chris Baker and Jason Peters got ejected for wanting to fight the entire Redskins sideline. Where's the fight? Why?
Remember back when
People are scared to get thrown out.
That's your franchise quarterback.
Remember back in 2017 when we won?
I do.
Remember we were doing the electric slide on the sidelines against the Bears?
Taking pictures in the end zone. It was a great time. It was fun.
Good time.
Now everyone does it except for us.
It must be nice.
All right, there's other teams besides the Eagles in the NFL.
I don't care about them.
I have one question for you.
I haven't.
Will Cam Newton lose the starting job to Kyle Allen? Kyle Allen has already been declared the starter against the 49ers.
I was about to say at this point, I mean, he's been hot. The team's been hot.
Listen to these stats. He has a 4-0 record. After Cam started the Panthers at 0-2, 4 passing touchdowns. In his first game, 261 yards. It was against the Cardinals, but it's his first game. He has a touchdown interception ratio of 7-0.
Wow.
And yeah, what do they do with Cam Newton?
At this point, you ride the hot hand. You ride the hot hand.
When Kyle Allen has a bad game, put Cam Newton back in, see what he does.
I don't think Cam plays the rest of the year.
And then what do they do with Cam Newton? Trade him?
I don't know. Man. If he doesn't look right, I mean, he doesn't look like his normal self.
Who's like really desperate for a quarterback?
Well, not desperate, but
Dolphins.
the Bengals need a change at quarterback.
Oh yeah, they have Bengals. Who said the Bengals? You said the Bengals?
I said the Broncos.
Okay, the Bengals are in some serious trouble. We'll talk about that too because Andy Dalton is horrible.
I agree.
68, 57-2. That's Andy Dalton's record with the Bengals. 0-4 in the playoffs. And is Marvin Lewis still the coach of the Bengals?
Zach Taylor.
That's a doggone shame.
Listen, Zach Taylor.
There's been no change.
Zach Taylor inherited Andy Dalton. That's not his guy. All right, they're going to go out and get Tua. First of all, they should tank the rest of the year. Then they go out and get Tua.
It's too late. The Dolphins are already going to get him.
Well, they're both winless.
I mean, yeah, but the Dolphins look like the worst team. A worse team. Dolphins are giving up players.
Yeah, no one wants to play for the Dolphins anymore.
I mean, they're abandoning ship.
That's an understatement.
They're abandoning ship.
They want no parts of that Miami Dolphins team.
They sit Mariota for Ryan Tannehill, talking about the Dolphins quarterback.
And still comes out and get the victory.
Tannehill went 23 for 29, 312 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and an interception.
Wow.
So I guess he starts next week, too.
Oh, definitely.
Probably.
Oh, yeah.
Mariota looks like he's done in the NFL.
Very interesting at the quarterback position this year. We got Gardner Minshew taking over for Nick Foles. He's 3-4 with the Jags.
Whatever.
I think Marcus Mariota would be good.
How about your
in a different uniform? Like the Titans' offense just doesn't seem to fit Mariota.
It's not his fault that he got.
Mariota was good in college, but he looks like a different.
We're all aware how good in college he was because we almost got him on the Eagles after trading him.
But in that offense, it's run heavy, and he doesn't run anymore. I haven't seen him really take off and run like he did in college. It's all Derrick Henry now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And then, Chris, you were talking about Jacoby with the Colts. He's 4-2. You got Teddy Bridgewater doing a fantastic job.
This is the crazy part. Everybody expected the Saints to take a couple L's while Drew Brees was recovering from his injury.
I thought so.
They have not missed a beat.
I can't believe they beat the Bears. They had no Alvin Kamara. They had no Drew Brees, and they still got the job done.
You know why?
No Jared Cook.
You know why?
Why?
Good coaching. That's why. Sean Payton's one of the best offensive minds that we've seen. You may not like him. He may be arrogant, but he's arrogant for a reason.
The Bears need a quarterback.
Because he's that work.
That's good. The Bears are in a tough spot. Listen, let me just say this, and this is just my opinion here. The Bengals are horrible this season. I feel like if they had a quarterback that was talented, they could easily be up there with the Ravens because they got talent around them. They got Tyler Boyd. They got Joe Mixon. Their defense isn't horrible.
No.
It's not the best in the league. Don't get me wrong. It's probably mediocre, but it's not the worst.
Trade it for the Eagles defense.
Yes, I would. Jonah Williams is out. They're starting left tackle. They drafted in the first round. So when they get him back next year, if they get Tua in here, that's
now that you say it,
AJ Green get healthy.
The Bengals do deserve Tua more because the Dolphins have both Ryan Fitzpatrick and
Josh Rosen.
Who has you cannot be on another team in 3 years. Josh Rosen cannot be on another team. That just it shouldn't happen.
They really just threw him in the fire, though. They just threw him.
That's
in
what
there.
I'm
Talk
saying.
about ruining someone's career.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like he was drafted by the Cardinals.
Even
to be
Jameis
their,
Winston's given chances
to be their franchise quarterback. Then you get a new coaching staff that doesn't want you, so they trade him to the Dolphins, and now the Dolphins don't want him. Like, dude, a rookie quarterback comes in and has to learn a playbook. Then a year later, he has to learn a completely new playbook with completely new cadences.
The Dolphins have nothing around them.
Right, and then you're traded to a team that's tanking. Like, that is horrible for a confidence of a quarterback.
Yes.
They got rid of Tunsil, right?
Mm-hmm.
And after all the players said, if you get rid of this guy, we're out. So, with that information, they got rid of him, and everyone was out.
They got rid of Minka Fitzpatrick, too.
Yep.
Right. To the
This
Steelers.
is what we're going to find out in this next upcoming draft.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're a Dolphins fan, we all like talking
Gotta
NFL.
be
We
pretty
like talk.
excited.
You got to say, listen, we got high draft picks. Let's go out, maybe find ourselves a quarterback, maybe find ourselves a pass rusher of some sort, and take the assets you gather. And that's what I think the Eagles need to do. I would trade Zach Ertz.
You know what? Speaking of the Eagles, I seen something on one of the post games.
Wait, T, do you agree that we should trade Zach Ertz?
Negative, never.
Last week,
Homer. You gotta be smart.
Never.
Last week, I entertained the idea.
Dallas Goddard so good.
He is probably.
But here's the problem:
he's top 2 tight ends in the league.
That he's a top 2.
You can
tight
get a
end in
first
the
rounder
league,
back probably.
and Dallas Goddard has
Sure.
not proven that. Has not given me enough confidence where I can say,
let me explain.
okay.
Dallas Goddard's fumble. That's just all inexperience.
Which week you talking
They're
about?
playing a zone. He gets the ball. He didn't just wrap it up. He needs to learn how to wrap that thing up.
But
all right.
But can you excuse that drop in the Lions game?
No.
Listen, here's the thing. You get a
but Aguilar, how many drops has
round
Nelson
pick
had? Come
for
on.
Zach Ertz.
Yeah,
and then
but we
do
know
you
what
do with
Nelson
the first
Aguilar
round
is
pick?
at this point.
What did you say? What did you say?
What do you do with that first round pick once you get him for Zach Ertz?
Draft any defensive
and then
player.
You're screwed
The
because
best one.
But
you're
that's the
looking at this
problem.
guy that you got for Zach Ertz, and you're like, wow, we suck even more now.
And then here's the problem. Like I said before, we suck at drafting. We are absolutely horrible.
Well, that's true. That needs to change.
So you can gather as much draft picks as you want, but until
What other
we
route
finally,
would you go? What other route would you go? Because if we stick with this one, we're gonna come in like third place in the division one year when the Giants finally get good.
Howie needs to bring in
And they will.
a draft guru. He needs to bring in somebody who's going to teach him
bring in Mike
how
Mayock.
to scout.
Let's go get Mike Mayock.
No, but
Dude, he's on the Raiders.
Yeah, take him away.
Yeah, just steal.
I'll pay you $1 more than you're getting paid right now.
No. Max is asking what other route would you take?
You don't want to trade players. Fine. Well, because the assets we gather you think won't go to good use. So what's your plan?
I'm not saying I don't think they won't go to good use, but I'm just looking at the history of draft picks and the development of these players, and it's absolutely horrible.
I agree with that, but would you stick with the route that we're on right now?
At this point, I'd rather listen. I've never been an advocate of going out in free agency and building a team through free agency.
Yeah, me either.
So
unless it's Bryce Harper,
like,
of course.
I like drafting young players.
Oh boy.
I like developing them in my system that is supposed to be successful, and then should they want to leave, most likely they're not going to be the same player outside of my system.
You know what, Max? I'll entertain your question. If I have to use Zach Ertz to get something for this team, I'm doing everything I can to pry Nick Bosa off the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, you could try. That's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
You know what? That's actually I'll give them a Zach Ertz and a second round pick.
Wow.
That's not going to do it.
Yeah, because the 49ers need a tight end.
That
Now listen to how ridiculous we sound. Listen to how
that's a good point.
ridiculous we sound.
That's a
Yeah,
good
the
point.
more I think about
That's a
this,
good point.
the more seriously like in danger we are. We are in serious
We're in more
trouble.
danger than you think. I want you to listen to this post press conference that Lane Johnson gave.
What?
I want you to listen to this and listen to this very closely.
No.
I don't know if I want to.
Oh, trust me, you're gonna want to. Trust me. Hold
Really,
on.
it's going to be probably a call-out session. Everybody will be held accountable. Little stuff that slides during the week. Late to practice, late to meetings, late. This and that stuff will start to be held accountable for, and I think that'll maybe creep into the games.
That's a problem.
I don't know if he means just like little things in general, or there was a specific moment he remembers where.
There's two problems with that. One, you're going to the media and expressing what is going on behind the scenes. When players start going to the media,
well, listen,
a la this little
anonymous and asking questions.
It's Alshon Jeffrey. That's
but
who
it's
it is.
your job as a player. You're trained. Trust
Alshon.
me, they train these players not to say certain things to the media. For him to say that to the media, that's a problem. That is a huge problem. Players missing meetings, coming in late for practices and whatnot, that is a serious, serious problem. And there is no accountability, because if there was, you would start seeing players getting benched. You would hear about players getting fined. You would see young players getting more snaps than some of the starters.
Zach Brown get released for what he said.
No, that was more. That was his play. That was more or less his play. But you would start seeing these things. And here's the number two reason why this is a problem. And this is a really huge problem. If you're going to the media and talking about this instead of keeping it in-house, you have some serious issues. Lane Johnson is a I understand that you're mad, but you have to put your emotions in check.
They're football players. They don't really care what they say to the media.
You're right, but I think because we got like 8 minutes left, trying to wrap up. Try to get those other things.
We still got to talk about basketball.
We got time.
We
got time.
Okay.
Don't worry.
So I just want to say this last point here about this topic. Patrick Peterson is a name that's floating around. We offered Aguilar in the first round pick. Now I don't know. Obviously the Cardinals didn't accept.
They spit in our face, yeah.
But I just feel like we're kind of going on a track the Phillies went on, where we're going out and trying to buy a bunch of veteran guys, and
you understand what I'm saying to you?
One or two players aren't going to put us over the top.
Once again, a comparison to the Phillies.
When we have, it really is, because when we have a bunch of holes to fill, going out and getting one star player out of position isn't going to change.
It's not
the problem. So why are we trying to go out and get Chris Harris Jr., Emmanuel Sanders we've heard floating around? Why are we trying to do these? We're not going to win this year. Let's just get that through our heads.
What's the point of training for an Emmanuel Sanders when last year we traded for a Golden Tate and the offensive coordinator went out to the media and said that he's having difficulty putting him into the offense?
But then
that's
again, you
a
look at
serious
the Giants'
problem.
highlights of Golden Tate, and he seems to be doing just fine.
And at that point, last year when we traded for him, Golden Tate was the leading pass catcher in yards after catch.
Yeah, in Detroit, he was good.
We love ruining players, man.
That was a solid core: Golden Tate, Marvin Jones, and Kenny Golladay to pair with Kerryon Johnson, and now T.J. Hawkinson. Man, if they still had that core going,
dude,
it's pretty nice.
That's why I say ultimately this is an upper management and coaching issue. It's time to start really looking in the mirror. It's time to start heating up some seats. I've been saying this since the first week when we barely beat the Redskins. I've been saying it. It's time for.
Remember, we thought that was a fluke.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody was like, "Oh, T, you're crazy. Calm down. We still won, but now everything's coming to fruition."
Listening to you call for Jim Schwartz's head after week one, it's not. I
remember that.
It's not that crazy.
That did happen. But now we're just going to see how it plays out. We know what the problems are, and there's a lot of them, and we know. We all have opinions on what should be done and what needs to happen. But the fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, we're going to have to sit here and just see how it plays out, see how we play against Buffalo.
Yep.
What's going to go wrong? What's going to go well? Are we going to bounce back? How is the attitude going to be? In as far as like the locker room that you guys have mentioned about Lane Johnson and all that stuff. So we're just going to have to see how it plays out, and hopefully,
listen, before you change the topic about that, when y'all talked about that anonymous source and Howard Eskin leaked that it was Alshon Jeffrey, I'm not getting into that. I refuse to get.
It was Alshon Jeffrey.
I refuse to get into it.
I just can't
assume.
Throw Alshon the ball more, man. He needs volume, and throw it to Ertz too. Why is Ertz only getting one catch? The dude was a tank last year. Bunch of low life.
You heard Nelson Aguilar take shots at Carson, so why wouldn't it be Nelson Aguilar?
I don't know. I just think it's better to not speculate because like a piece of Swiss cheese. I just can't envision Alshon being that guy.
I know. I'm only messing around.
I feel like he's more responsible than that.
All right, baseball.
Anyway.
We got the Astros and Nationals facing off in the World Series this year. Let's go Stros.
Yes, I agree.
Will the Astros get their second title in 3 years?
Yeah.
Or will the Nationals get their first?
Dude, Jose Altuve.
No.
Jose Altuve, man.
T, finally lighting up. T lighting up about baseball over here.
Yo, man.
He's like, Jose Altuve. Jose Altuve.
Well, hey, that's what happens when the Eagles are bad.
What is he, 5'4"?
If that.
That's crazy.
I'm going to go out
Max
on the limb.
Scherzer and Garrett Cole on the mound.
Yeah,
That's
game
be
one tonight.
quite a pitching duel.
The Astros are favored by a lot. Let me just go on the opposite track and just pick the Nats.
Wow.
I mean, you can go ahead and do
The
that.
Bryceless Nats.
Exactly. That's the last thing I want to see.
I'll
we
take
take their
my-
best
They
player.
made it all the way.
I don't
Take my
Max,
Anthony
They
Rendon.
gave us.
Max, I don't know what this character is that you play sometimes, but it's, cheering for teams that
It's
Philadelphia
fun.
hates.
The Nats are very fun to watch. If you're a baseball fan, like if you're a hockey fan, you probably have like the random team like the Minnesota Wild are fun to watch. And we're all
No,
sitting
I
here.
hate the
We're all
Wild.
sitting here scratching our head like, who the hell are the Minnesota? I'm just giving an example.
I hate the Wild.
But dude, if you're a baseball fan, they've been real fun to watch this year. And Scherzer, Strasburg, Corbin, it's going to be a great pitching matchup.
Is
each
it
game.
weird? Is it weird that I secretly wish that the Dodgers would have got it just to see Chris pissed off?
Why would you wish that on me?
So we got 3 votes on the Astros and 1 on the Nationals.
Give me the
we'll
Nats.
see how it goes.
Give me
And
the
then
Nats.
Basketball. The NBA season tips off tonight at 8 p.m.
Man, something
The
entertaining.
defending champion Raptors against the Zionless.
Kawhi-less.
Oh, Kawhi?
No.
No,
You're
it's
right.
the Pelicans.
The Zionless
Pelicans.
No, I was talking about the
Yeah.
Raptors, but whatever.
And then,
Stay on
true.
point.
And
I was
then
talking about the Flippin'
continues
Raptors.
with a juicy matchup between the Clippers and the Lakers.
That's at the Lakers or at the Clippers, by the way. Very important. It's at the Clippers. They're playing in the same building, but it's at the Clippers.
Chris, you got it.
Wait a second.
Kawhi and PG against AD and LeBron James.
LeBron James.
Enough
How
is
do they,
enough.
like-
Start playing with some jam in here. Let's
I
go.
don't know, like just two teams
Oh,
that
yeah,
play in the
Chris,
same
they got-
building.
they
It's
got
crazy.
home court
Like, what the
advantage.
heck?
The
It's gonna-
Giants
it's
and the
gonna mean a lot.
Jets.
Giants and the Jets.
It's weird, but it's just gonna be
It
fun.
is.
I'm watching it.
It is.
Yo, you're not doing anything around 10:30 tonight. You can check out the
Yeah,
Clippers
I will.
Lakers. Why not? It's gonna be a good matchup. Kawhi's playing. Paul George is not. He's out for a couple months with double shoulder surgery. Double shoulder surgery. So we'll see how that plays out. Now,
Both shoulders?
the Sixers, favorites in the East, probably. They got the Celtics, who I can't stand the Celtics.
Kemba Walker
Kemba
always
Walker's-
gets to us.
Oh, and the
Yeah,
Jalen
he
Brown
does.
just re-signed 4 years,
That's
115
great.
million.
Yeah, that's too much money for him.
115 million. What is he, like LeBron James?
That's too much money, man. It's crazy how much money these mid-level NBA players are getting.
Yeah, Jalen
Like-
Brown's a nice player. I mean, I'd take him on the Sixers any day.
Yeah, I'd take him.
But
Yeah, I take him, but I'm not paying him 115
no,
million.
I agree.
Dude, that's too much.
All right,
What
all right.
is going to be the most important thing for the Sixers this season?
Man, that's
Shooting.
ludicrous.
We need to make sure we hit some
I
threes,
think
man.
that bench.
Well, the bench too. Well, we don't have a bad bench. Mike Scott's been pretty solid in the past.
Development.
That's about it, actually.
You named one player.
Development
about
of
it.
the young guys and Ben Simmons having a consistent jump shot.
Matisse Thybulle. They call me Matisse.
Embiid's health.
I'm sick of this.
That'll
How
be-
confident are you guys in him?
I'm really confident. I've seen him
Oh,
play in
yeah.
the preseason. He looks like a different player, man. He's really, really
Who we talking
talented.
about?
I
Matisse
just-
Thybulle. He's really good.
I just
He's a good
remember
defender.
hearing and seeing a lot of people upset about that.
I think we all wanted my
Still
boy
wanted-
Carson Edwards.
I still wanted Ty Jerome.
Ty Jerome, too.
later in it.
But,
But-
Matisse Thybulle has been a pest on defense. I've seen.
He can shoot a little bit.
He can. It is
Josh
surprisingly.
Richardson.
Yeah,
It's
Josh
gonna be
Richardson's
it's gonna be
nice.
fun. It's gonna be fun to watch.
Rich,
Hopefully this is the
baby.
year. This has to be the season. This has to be it.
Oh boy,
This is our time. I've waited too long.
it's time.
Some team in Philadelphia has to be good eventually, and it has to be the Sixers. It's the best chance.
Yeah,
The Eagles are going downhill. The Phillies are in the toilet.
I just thought it'd be an interesting sport.
What about the
So,
Flyers?
Let's go basketball. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying.
Look, man, I know they lost a couple games, but I'm
Yeah, they
not
did.
worried. I'm not worried.
I don't know why
because
Brian Elliott all of a sudden is like, "Oh, I'm Brian Elliott. I'm going to sneak in a game or two here." Like it's Carter Hart or die.
That's
It's Carter Hart or nothing.
that's how it's going to be. Carter Hart's only 21.
Dude, Carter Hart is by far our best goalie and
He
probably
is.
one of the best in the
What's
league.
the problem now?
So get his ass
See,
out there.
I met Carter Hart.
Yeah,
Brian
I
Elliott.
know.
Brian
I'm a little
Elliott.
jealous of you. I'll be honest.
Brian Elliott started last night.
Brian Elliott looked great last night.
Yeah, because we scored 6 times.
No, he's still, dude.
No,
he's still stuck.
if we scored 3, you'd be like, "Oh shit, Elliott."
No, you piece of Swiss cheese.
Excuse my language.
Jesus, man.
Could have blocked that one out. Bunch of low lifes.
No,
You love making my life miserable. Now I gotta edit that.
no, but in all seriousness, no. They outplayed every single opponent they've played so far except Calgary.
Edmonton.
Dude, okay, no, you look at the look, dude. I know how that Edmonton game looked.
That was really bad.
It was really bad.
Really bad.
But when you
seriously,
what's he here?
What? No, dude, they severely outshot Edmonton. They just couldn't freaking score. Thank God there's no shot clock in hockey because they would never shoot in any game because they hold on to the puck way too long. That's ridiculous. Yeah. They do. But I'm not worried. I'm not worried. Not yet, at least.
I'm not worried either. It's too early on in the season to be worried about it. But again, I still have confidence in this team. The Dallas Stars game was a little shaky, though.
Dude, they dominated them. They just couldn't freaking score.
They gave up 4 goals
again, and they gave up 4 goals to bad players.
That's the problem. But hopefully within the next week, the Eagles get a W. The Sixers are undefeated, and the Flyers are back on track.
Ludicrous.
Oh, and hopefully we also get Joe Girardi too.
Hey,
nice.
the Philadelphia Union are in the playoffs.
Yes.
Oh, the Philadelphia Union are in the playoffs.
They are.
I'm channeling my inner Tanner
to watch them.
Wow.
Oh,
they are.
Chris, 4-3. That was Did you see the game?
I did not actually see it.
They scored it in overtime. It was crazy.
Did they?
The place was going nuts. They got Atlanta. They play Atlanta United on Thursday night.
Thursday night?
Atlanta United.
I'll keep it on my calendar.
8 o'clock start.
8 o'clock start.
Go ahead, Max. Name 4 players on the Union.
Oh, you want me to name 4? Okay, I will. Andre Blake, Alejandro Bedoya.
What?
Put Google away.
Fafa Pico.
What?
Hold on, I'm still going. And Ray Gaddis. There's 4. Boom.
I meant 6.
How about I just name the whole team at this point?
Can you name 5 players?
I couldn't even name the coach.
Warren Carval is 5.
I know he's not on the team.
Oh, Jack Elliott. Jack Elliott's 6. I got it. Jack Elliott, baby.
All right, guys. Tune in next week.
All right, guys.
Not to be confused with Jake Elliott.
If y'all missed any of this episode, you can always go to Philly-experience.simplecast.com. You can catch it on all major platforms.
Is Christian Lateau still in the
Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
No.
Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and more. This is the happiest we've been in this show because the Eagles are depressing.
No kidding. All right. You piece of Swiss cheese.
No, low key though. Watch out for those Cowboys. They're playing really well. Zeke's on track. Dak looks like a different quarterback.
What's the matter with you?
They lost 3 in a row, and then they win 1, and they think they're the
I'm telling you, watch out for them Cowboys. How about them Cowboys?
Oh my God! What the hell?
Turn this off.
Quit yucking my yum.
What the is that?
Is an outrage.
I'm not going to tolerate your crap today.
I hear you.